Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. In today's video, we're going to be doing a range test with the Lectric ONE e-bike. Now, Lectric does claim that this bike will get upwards of 35 miles on a single charge while riding in pedal assist 3, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So we'll see how close to that 35 miles we can get. Now, one thing to keep in mind about range estimates is that they're often based on very specific riding conditions. For example, a 180-pound rider riding on flat ground with minimum stop and go and a very specific pedal assist level. And, you know, in the real world, those riding conditions often differ. So we'll see what we're able to get today on this bike. I do weigh in at 204 pounds with gear this morning. And of course, we will be riding in Class 2 e-bike mode, which means our maximum speed is capped at 20 miles an hour. With that being said, the Lectric ONE can be unlocked to Class 3 mode through the menu system, which would take you up to a maximum pedal assist level of 28 miles an hour. And we've officially crossed the 3-mile mark on this ride. We've been riding around for about 12 and a half minutes. And we are back on the familiar Powerline Trail. This goes for miles and miles. Now, I did swap out the seat today for the Cloud 9 seat because unfortunately, the stock seat that this Lectric ONE came with isn't very comfortable. So on a long ride like this, I want to make sure I'm as comfortable as possible. Now, because we're riding on some roads today, I did install the side view mirror on the left-hand side of the bike. And this is one that I've used, you know, on the Lectric XP 3.0, use it on the Engwe L20 2.0. So, really good mirror, easy to adjust, doesn't come loose over time. If you're interested in picking one up, I'll include a link in the description below. All right, so we're riding on some hard-packed dirt right now. And with the route that we're taking today, generally speaking, you know, depending on how far we go, is about 30% hard-packed dirt, 70% paved surface. Now, the Lectric ONE doesn't have a suspension. And so on rides like this, it's critical to have a comfortable seat. You could get a suspension seat post on the bike. That'll help improve things a bit. But, you know, so far, I'm very happy with the ride. Would it be nice to have a suspension up front? Yeah. It would be nice, it'd make the bike heavier, but it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. So one thing that I really enjoy about this bike is the fact that it's app enabled and you can actually control the gear shift behavior directly from the Pinion app. And so for today's ride, I'm in pre-select mode, which is basically automatic gear shift mode. So as you're pedaling, depending on your speed, when you pause pedaling just for a moment, it'll shift gears that are appropriate for the speed that you're riding at, as well as your cadence preference that you actually put into the app. And the gear shift on this bike is incredibly smooth. And so it's a whole new riding experience for me. Before purchasing this bike, I've never had any experience with an automatic gear shift. So it's a little mind-blowing for me. And it's still exciting for me, you know, even weeks after purchasing this bike. Now, for today's ride, I'll be paying very close attention to the voltmeter on this bike. You know, a lot of these e-bikes have these battery bars, and sometimes there's a lot of variation in their accuracy. And so for any kind of range test, if there is a voltmeter on the bike, I will keep an eye on that. So fully charged this morning, we were about 54, 55 volts. So about halfway would be somewhere around the 48 volt mark, or around the nominal voltage of this bike. So once we get to about 48 volts or so, we will turn it around and head back to where we started. But hopefully we don't have to do that for about 15 or so miles, so we'll see. And on that note, we just crossed the 7-mile mark. We've been riding around now for about 31 minutes. All right, we've got our little pedestrian bridge up ahead. It'll be a little hill climb test. Of course, if you watch my previous video, we did a full hill climb test on South Mountain, so if you haven't checked that out, I will include a link above. All right, pedal assist 3, no problem. Pedal assist 4, things get a heck of a lot easier. All right, we are at the top. And way out there in the distance, probably about 40 miles from here, we've got South Mountain. Now, one thing that just dawned on me is this bike doesn't have a bell, and I could have used that at several points in time during this ride so far. You got people, you know, out and about, you know, training for running events, people biking. Definitely would be nice if Lectric includes bells on their bikes. My Lectric XP 3.0 also didn't have a bell. So seems like to be their MO, you know, rebel against the bell. I don't know. So for those of you keeping track at home, we've officially crossed the 10-mile mark. And we've been riding for about 46 minutes. Now, one thing I'm noticing on this display is it looks like they've got an estimated range readout, which is interesting. It says we've got estimated range 25 miles. So we'll see how we do. They didn't have that on the Lectric XP 3.0. So one thing I do want to mention, you know, and this is me being completely honest, you know, I purchased this bike with my own money. This is not a sponsored video. This has to be probably the best e-bike I've ever ridden. Like, everything about the riding experience is smooth. You know, in my personal opinion, I think Lectric absolutely hit it out of the ballpark with this bike. Of course, we've got a lot of testing to do still, but so far, I am very impressed. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other videos where I demonstrated the gear shift on this bike, I'll let you take a listen here, see if you can hear it. So I'm starting off pedaling. I'm moving faster. Now, if I pause pedaling, you'll hear the gear shift. There it is. We pedal faster, we get to a higher speed, and I'm going to pause pedaling. There's our gear shift. And then when we slow down, it automatically shifts back down for us. And so that's the pre-select mode in action, which you can set in the Pinion gear shift app. Now, the previous bike that I covered, the Lectric XP 3.0, I covered that bike over the course of probably 12 videos or something crazy like that. So if you want to learn more about the XP 3.0, just check out my channel page, videos, and you'll see all of my Lectric XP 3.0 content. But one major difference between this bike and that is the fact that this is not a folding bike. So, you know, it doesn't have the advantages of portability like you would with something like the XP 3.0. With that being said, I am able to fit this bike in my Mazda CX-5, you know, with the seats down and not having to remove the tire. So I just slide the whole thing in there. Now, the bike weighs about 55 pounds, so it's not that heavy. I was able to load it in myself, you know, laying on its side after removing the pedals. And if you need a little more room, as one of you called out, you can always fold down those handlebars. But anyways, Mazda CX-5, it's like a compact SUV similar to like a RAV4 or a Hyundai Tucson. So that'll give you some idea of what you can fit this bike in. All right, so we just crossed the 15-mile mark, and we've been riding for about an hour and 5 minutes. The screen, when not under load, is showing about 50 volts. And the battery bar is still at 100%. You know, that's another reason why I say do not rely on that battery bar, because it's not very accurate. Definitely, if your bike has a voltage readout, rely on that. But one thing I will say is that I've ridden this bike without power, and it's not bad. You know, 55 pounds, a little bit lighter than the XP 3.0's 64 pounds. All right, so we are slowly dipping into that 48 volt range. And so probably in the next mile or so, I'll go ahead and turn it around and we'll head on back. All right, so this is the same area I rode the Engwe L20 2.0. That bike, I was able to get insane range. I got like 49 miles, almost 50 miles of range on a single ride. And unfortunately, I started that ride a little too late in the morning, and it was super hot. So never gonna make that mistake again. That was like 4 hours of riding, something crazy. All right, so I'm gonna take a little water break here. We're at about 17 miles. And we've got a little waterfall feature here in the canals. It's always nice to see some water in the desert. There you go. Arizona's Niagara Falls. All right, time to get some water in me, and we'll start start heading on back. We'll get just a little more mileage in. We'll go to the end of this covered area, which is always nice because we are in between golf courses here. So definitely wouldn't want to get pelted in the head with a golf ball on this glorious range test this morning. So thank you to whoever came up with this covering idea. All right, we will get turned around now. It's the pinion gear shift getting us into the appropriate gear. We are officially heading back. We're at about 17.5 miles right now. So if all works out, you know, before we run out of battery, we should, you know, end at around 35 miles. I think an important thing to call out about this bike is that the brakes are pretty quiet. You know, my Lectric XP 3.0, that thing was squealing like crazy when I first got it. And after, you know, 200 miles of riding and then a tune-up, I was finally able to get that squealing tamed down a little bit. But yeah, it was in the very beginning, it was a little embarrassing riding around and hitting the brakes because it seemed like you can hear me coming for miles, but those brakes are much better now. Oh, that's funny. I didn't have the camera rolling, but somebody else was riding around on Lectric One as well. So finally starting to see some people out and about riding Lectric Ones other than myself. It's a great bike. If you're looking for, you know, something that's great for commuting, it's lighter weight, got really good power to weight ratio, excellent hill climbability, plenty of torque and power. It's definitely a solid option to consider. Not the cheapest option, but so far in my experience, I think even after tax, $2,300 for the long range edition, I still think it's a steal of a deal. Now, one thing I do wish is that this bike had a slightly larger rear rack. The Lectric XP 3.0, the Engwe L20 2.0, they both have, you know, relatively standard size racks. The rack on this bike, though, is a little bit smaller, which isn't a major issue. It's just, you know, when it comes to putting like a rear saddlebag or something on, you know, and you've got those straps where they strap on from the bottom, you know, the fit isn't the greatest. So I'm using my Kamimoto rear bag off of my Lectric XP 3.0 because that's a perfect fit. I did order another Kamimoto that doesn't have the side straps, which I'll use on my Lectric XP 3.0. Was going to use it for this, but it's a little wide for the rack that this bike comes with. But that one there has got those pannier, is that how you pronounce it, pannier bags? It's basically got two slots on the side, so it's a regular bag, and then you can unzip some pannier bags that roll out, so that's really nice. We've officially crossed the 20-mile mark. We've been riding for an hour and 25 minutes. Resting voltage is showing 48.3, 48.4. Battery bars at about 50%. And we are cruising along in pedal assist level 3. All right, another little pit stop here around the 20-mile mark. We've got more waterfalls here in the canal system. So that's exciting. You know, whoever said there wasn't water in the desert? Look at all this water, it's fantastic. Now, if you're curious what my favorite pedal assist level is, me personally, I love cruising around in pedal assist level 2, about 15 miles an hour. Nice, relaxing ride. You know, if you want to put in a little effort, get a little workout in, you know, you can try and pedal beyond 15 miles an hour on there, but for me, I mean, that's the perfect pedal assist level on the Lectric One. Is pedal assist level 2. Now, if you want to get somewhere in a hurry, pedal assist level 3, no problem at all. And in the gearing that I don't have any kind of ghost pedaling right now or anything like that. It's actually very comfortable. Now, one thing I really like about e-bikes and e-scooters is that they get you out and about. You know, prior to starting this channel, you know, I'd probably be sleeping right now. You know, on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, I'd sleep in, you know. With this, I'm out and about, seeing new things, discovering new places around me I didn't even know existed. You know, prior to this channel, I didn't even know this canal here existed. Would have been really helpful for my marathon training, I'll tell you that, because when running around 20 plus miles, you know, at the peak of training for a marathon, it's always hard to find a nice, comfortable place to run. You know, for me, I'd be running around the neighborhood, and I'll tell you what, how many times can you do that before you go crazy? We've officially crossed the 23-mile mark. We've been riding for about an hour and 40 minutes. We've got about 40% battery showing on the bar right now. We're at about 47.3 volts resting. So we'll see if this is going to be enough. Now, according to the range estimate on this screen, it's saying 11 miles, which if that's the case, that should take us to just about 35 miles. So we'll see how this works out. All right, railroad tracks. Clear on the left, clear on the right. All right, back up the pedestrian bridge. We are in pedal assist level 4 right now. Cruising along. 850 watts or so. And we made it right up. And as I've mentioned before, these hydraulic brakes are fantastic. More than enough stopping power. All right, so we've crossed the 28-mile mark, and we've been riding for a little over 2 hours. And we've got what looks to be about a quarter battery remaining based on the bar. And our voltage under no load is 46. So, you know, we've got 7 miles or so until we hit that 35-mile mark. Let's see if we can make it. Finally got some cloud cover, which is really nice. I did put on about 15 gallons of sunscreen this morning. So should be good anyways, but it's always nice to get that sun out of your face. It's kind of hard to escape out here in the Phoenix area. Valley of the Sun, as they call it. All right, we're gonna take a little detour here. Squeeze in some extra miles, because I think we are doing better than expected. All right, we are officially at the 30-mile mark. Been riding for about 2 hours, 22 minutes. Resting voltage is 45.7 volts. You know, when it comes to suspension, obviously this bike doesn't have one. But when you're riding on, you know, hard-packed dirt roads with some light gravel on top like this, it's very comfortable. You know, I'm not even holding onto the handlebars. I'm resting my hands on the top of the handlebars. You know, very comfortable. It's only when you start riding on rutted dirt roads do things start getting a little bumpy. So we are officially at 33 miles on this ride. We've been riding for about 2 hours, 23 minutes. Voltage under no load is 44.7. We are on that last battery bar. Yeah, if you're gonna be riding around on roads, it's really a good idea to get yourself a mirror. Give you a good idea of who's behind you. This Cloud 9 seat so far is pretty comfortable. You know, on long range rides, when you're, you know, 30 plus miles, you're definitely gonna be testing the limits of comfort on your seat. I don't think I would have made it this far on the stock electric seat, that's for sure. That thing does not play well with me, that's all I can say. I did get another Cloud 9 seat, a slightly different style. I threw that on the Lectric XP 3.0 last night, so I'll be testing that out, see how that comfort compares to this. Now, if you're curious about like power sag when you're at, you know, this low a battery, listen, I'm in pedal assist 3 right now, cruising around 19, 20 miles an hour. Not a problem at all whatsoever. And so, you know, power delivery when you're on your last 10, 15% is still pretty solid. So, you know, as we get closer to 42 volts, I suspect that's gonna, you know, drop off dramatically. But in the meantime, we're still cruising along. You know, now we're at 34 miles, so we officially crossed the 34-mile mark. 2 hours, 28 minutes. And on this pedal assist level 3 riding, we're doing about 420 watts or so. And let's see, under no load, we're at 44 volts. So we are at the tail end of this battery. So just cruise on back, see if we can finish at our benchmark of 35. I honestly didn't think we're going to get to 35. Reason being is that Lectric's estimates, based on their own testing, is 35 miles with a rider that's 180 pounds. I'm almost 25 pounds heavier than that. Yet here we are at over 34 miles. So far I'm impressed. As I mentioned before, we will be doing a throttle only test probably next week. See how things go. And I may consider doing, tests in lower pedal assist levels like pedal assist level 2, but we'll see, as I've got a jam-packed schedule for the rest of this month. We're going to be reviewing a couple more bikes, couple more scooters. And so lots and lots of work, lots and lots of rides to do until then. Well, there it is. We've officially crossed the 35-mile mark on this ride. So 35 miles on a single charge with the Lectric One. That is exactly the range that Lectric states that we can, attain with a 180-pound rider. I'm at 204 pounds, and we made it to 35 miles in 2 hours, 32 minutes. Obviously, we're going to keep on going. Now, Lectric does say that this bike will get upwards of 60 miles of range in pedal assist 1. I can tell you 100% I will not be testing that out. There's just not enough daylight hours when the temperature is cool enough for me to do something as crazy as that. If this were winter, okay, yeah, we could test it out, absolutely. Cool weather on a, overcast day, okay. But not on days when it's going to be 113 degrees or whatever it's supposed to be today. It's 90 plus degrees right now. It's hot. Definitely not going to be going on any 5 or 6 hour bike rides in these temperatures, that's for sure. Hey, look at that. We're past 36 miles right now. So 2 hours, 36 minutes on this ride. Cranking out 254 watts. Pedal assist 3, we're cruising around at about 17 miles an hour. Resting voltage 42.8, 42.9. So we are at the bottom end of this battery and just about where we started from. So I'll go ahead and park this thing and we'll do a debrief here in a moment. All right, folks, so there you have it. That was our range test with the Lectric One. Lectric does claim 35 miles with a 180-pound rider and pedal assist 3. With a 204-pound rider and pedal assist 3, we were able to get 37.06 miles on our ride today. Our average moving speed was 15.1 miles an hour. Our maximum speed was 20.9 miles an hour. And we had a total elevation gain of 433 feet over the course of a 2 hour and 40-minute ride. So overall, very impressed with the results of this bike. If you are interested in purchasing this, I do have a link in the description below. So any purchases made with that affiliate link do help support this channel and keep the wheels moving on future reviews. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns. Happy to answer them in the comments section below. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.